On Friday, while the hurricane was nearing landfall, Donald Trump was busy pardoning former Sheriff Joe Arpaio, a man he praised 3 nights earlier at a rally in Phoenix. Of course, Arpaio was the one who was held in contempt by a federal judge for racially profiling Latinos. As far as Trump is concerned, it's okay because he's partnering somebody he called, of course, a hero. Really? But he's a violent racist. This is what Trump said. Sheriff Joe Arpaio is now 85 years old, and after more than 50 years of admirable service to our nation, he is a worthy candidate for a presidential pardon. He went on to praise him as a patriot who kept Arizona safe. Very effusive with his praise, even though, if you look at his record, it has been shameful and immoral the way he has led there, how he has treated people. Many people say it essentially was like Guantanamo Bay. He was convicted of contempt by a federal judge in July for refusing to stop racially profiling Latinos while enforcing a crackdown on undocumented immigrants. The move by Trump was unusual given that it hadn't even gone through the normal pardon process in the Department of Justice, and also Arpaio had yet to be sentenced. Lots of critics. They were fast and furious. And of course, yesterday we discussed this on ABC's This Week with George Stephanopoulos. Now here's Trump friend and Newsmax CEO Chris Ruddy trying to defend Trump's pardon by lying about President Obama's use of pardons.
President says, you know what? Obama pardoned and commuted a record number of 1,700 people. We never talk about any of those people. Some of them were murderers. Some of them were murderers, George. So we're being very selective on how we're discussing these pardons.
Really? Well, here's what I told Ruddy after his nonsense when, frankly, he was just operating like Trump, lying.
I do not want us to forget what Arpaio did. He racially profiled individuals. I'm not dealing with the politics. He defied a court order. That's what he did. What Trump has been doing has been pushing the racial resentment buttons of white Americans from the election to present day. He was also in line with the birther that was racist and shameful, his attacks on President Obama. Trump and Arpaio have yet to apologize for that, and was even more shameful on these conservative evangelicals who stand with Trump, who have not condemned the inhumane treatment of Arpaio, and that's Paula White, that's Jerry Falwell Jr., that's Ralph Reed. They are more focused on the P-R-O-F-I-T of the faith, not the P-R-O-P-H-E-T. Be prophetic voices who lead.
This guy can't win. Trump can't win, right? He's either a racist.
No, I didn't call him a racist. What I simply said is he has yet to apologize for birther. No.
I mean, anyone that's known the guy, and I've known him for a long time, many people have known him, no one has ever heard him ever engage in any racial anything.
Here's my point.
Look, let's talk about
Sheriff Arpaio was racially profiling.
How was he racially profiling?
The court said it. That's why he was held in contempt.
That's what he was convicted of.
That's the reason we're having this conversation, and the reason he got pardoned, because he racially profiled. How can you ignore that fact?
I haven't studied the whole case.
I have.
I wonder.
The federal judge did.
Look, I think we're going into a period where it's not fake news, it's very selective news.
No, it's factual news.
But wait a second. We would not be talking about this if President Trump did not issue the tweet and the pardon Friday night at 10 o'clock.
In 1967, when Lyndon Johnson launched the war on poverty, blacks had 3% of GDP, 12% of the population. 50 years later, they have 12% of the population, 3% of GDP.
Chris, we're not chasing that down the rabbit hole. I'm not going to chase this rabbit hole.
You know some of the poll numbers that show after Charlottesville that blacks support the Confederate
I'm not going to shift the story, which you're trying to do. He pardoned a man who racially profiled and was sanctioned by a federal court. He could have allowed him to also appeal. You mentioned President Obama and commutations. Those are people who were sentenced, who were in jail.
Some were
Arpaio wasn't.
Some murdered people.
So what he did is he actually got ahead of it.
We never talk about any of those.
Chris, you could try to shift the story, but he racially profiled.
Nice try, Chris, but it didn't work. Joining us, Cristobal Alex, president of the Latino Victory Fund. Also on our panel, A. Scott Bolden, attorney at law, former chair of the D.C. Democratic Party, along with Victoria Burke, writer with NBC Black, and also Malik L. Boyd as well. Okay, this is crazy. So it's interesting. This guy, if you understand his history, I mean, he literally is along the lines of how we were treating folks in Guantanamo Bay. That's Joe Arpaio. That's the guy Trump praises as being this wonderful American.
It's outrageous. This, I think, is one of the worst attacks on the Latino community that I've ever seen. I remember Donald Trump started his campaign on the very first day by attacking our community, calling us rapists, calling us thieves, building a campaign focused on the base of his base, which is based on racism and misogyny. Of course, he went on to attack other communities of color and women and people with disabilities. But since he was elected, he surrounded himself with white supremacists, and on the day that the worst hurricane to hit Houston ever hits, what is this man doing? He's busy pardoning the greatest racist, most famous racial profiler in the United States, and Sheriff Joe Arpaio, who's been absolutely horrible toward Latinos.
I was reading, of course, a alternative paper there in Arizona. They detailed all of this man's transgressions, including not pursuing a case where children alleged being sexually abused, and he ignored it because they were illegal, because they were undocumented immigrants.
It's outrageous. Up to 400 cases of sexual assault and child abuse were ignored, while this man rounded up thousands of Latinos based on the color of their skin. They called it a concentration camp. We're talking about tents and 130-degree weather.
He called it that. And he had no problem calling it that.
Right. It's outrageous. And if you think about it, he also had resources to send a deputy to Hawaii to look for President Obama's birth certificate. Meanwhile, he leaves 400 cases sitting there of horrible sexual abuse.
And Trump praised that investigation on Obama's birth certificate. Scott, look, the president, of course, has the authority to pardon and offer commutations. That is established in the Constitution. But this so-called fraudulent president talks about law and order, totally ignores it, ignores the DOJ process, doesn't even go through that, and so it's just, oh no, I'm going to pardon him. I don't care what y'all think.
And ignores a federal judge, a Republican-appointed federal judge, who did not have the opportunity to even sentence him. But let's not forget this one thing. This is super important for your viewers, is that it's not so much that he pardoned him per se, but why did he pardon him? He tweeted he pardoned him because he was a patriot and because he kept Arizona safe. This is someone not only brutalized Latinos, racially profiled, but when ordered by a federal judge to stop, refused to stop. He had cameras in these prisons where women could be viewed publicly using the bathrooms. I mean, this was diabolically offensive, and yet and still, Trump, the reason is worse than the fact that he did it. Think about it.
Yeah, and this president, remember, allows Arpaio to walk, but Arpaio also handcuffed pregnant women while they were giving birth in these jail cells. It's the most despicable, disgusting man around.
Lauren, these are the people who Trump loves.
Yeah, June 16.
And dictators.
June 16, 2015, when Trump got up and announced he was running for president and defined immigrants, specifically Mexicans, as rapists and murderers, we knew what we were dealing with. He, of course, went on during the campaign to talk about building a wall and basically speak in directly against the new America that we're going to have demographically in 20 or 30 years. He is at war with that. It's never been anything that's been a secret with Donald Trump. And the war continues with this type of a pardon. So there's really nothing surprising here, unfortunately.
Malik, this makes Trump's white conservative supporters happy. This is what this is about.
It does. And here's the thing. We have a president who has decided to champion a narrative that is ripping the wombs off of minorities across the country.
The sheets, too.
The sheets as well.
Ripping the sheets off the faces of these conservatives and these racists.
Actually putting the spotlight on some of the sheets that still exist.
Well, and again, and the fact that he totally ignores exactly what this guy did, and doesn't care.
Well, I mean, you know what? He does care. He wants to champion exactly what Arpaio was doing. He wants to highlight it. He wants to send the message that it's okay.
Exactly.
He knows exactly what Arpaio's up to. What he doesn't know, of course, is the pardon process. It kind of makes me laugh when people say, well, you circumvented the pardon. He doesn't know what the pardon process is. I mean, the president has no idea what he's doing.
All he knows is I can just pardon.
Right.
Exactly right.
Like a 7-year-old. I can pardon?
Right.
Here, let me do that.
Basically, he's a giant 7-year-old president.
Right, exactly.
The thing that worries me a little bit about these pardons, I mean, A, it's a slap in the face to Latinos and people of color around the country and folks who have fought for civil rights. It's outrageous. But number two, he's starting to create the slippery slope for pardons, right? And you can see what he's trying to do. If he normalizes pardons, he can prepare to perhaps pardon himself, pardon his family, pardon his associates for the horrible things that they did to steal the White House. And number three, I hate to bring it up, but we have to start thinking about whether this person is of sound mind. What competent, reasonable person, the night that a horrible Category 4 hurricane hits Houston, the fourth largest city with 6.6 million, is busy keeping transgendered folks out of the military? This is a draft dodger, remember, and also focusing on this racist Arpaio.
Weekdays on TV One.
I will never lie to you.
Oh my God.
Roland Martin.
He doesn't want to talk to us. He wants to ignore us.
Uncensored.
Hell no.
That ain't gonna cut it, boo.
Unapologetic.
No, that is fundamentally false. You are wrong.
Unfiltered.
He wants an America where we all look alike. He ain't talking about black people.
Unrelenting.
You better go work out, because you got a fight on your hands.
NewsOne Now with Roland Martin. Weekdays at 7 a.m. on TV One.